Hey guys, I just wanted to show you really quick some examples of what you're supposed to do on this worksheet here. So it says the instructions here say rewrite the equations in standard form. Find C when the leading coefficient is positive. So remember that standard form, first of all. Hold on. Standard form is AX plus BY equals C. And A, B, and C are just numbers, okay? So basically all you have to do for student A, we're gonna distribute that negative 50. So we'd have Y minus 100 equals negative 50X plus 150. Okay, the other thing I'm gonna have to do is get X and Y together. So let's add the 50X over. And so now I've got 50X plus Y minus 100 equals 150. And so now all I have to do is add that 100 back to the other side. Okay, so this one is now in standard form. And for student A, the value of C is 250. So you'll see if you read the directions at the bottom here, it says the sum of the three answers, C, and I know it says it's given on the back. That's because we're supposed to do, if I were doing this in class, I would have them printed out and you'd be able to flip the paper over. So it's not quite on the back. I do give you the answers at the end. But so for student A, the value is 250. You're going to do the same thing for student B, get a number, and student C, get a number. So this, the sum that they're talking about, they want you to add these three numbers together. And that's going to get you some final sum. Okay. Okay, so just add up those three values and then just make a note of what your sum is. And then when you go to the end, you'll see that sum and you'll see if you're right. On this next page, you are asked to give the equation in standard form. So to do that, all you're going to have to do is remember distribute this value. So that's going to be our first step. So let's go ahead and do that. Y minus 6 equals 1/2 X. 1/2 times negative 16 is going to be a negative 8. Once you do that distribution step, right here is where you should clear the fractions. So remember, I want to look at my denominator. In this case, it's 2. So I'm going to multiply the whole equation by 2. Sorry, my son's running around in the background too. So you hear him yelling, that's just him. So I'm going to multiply everybody by 2. Every single one of these values multiplied by 2. Okay, so let's try that. I see the cat. 2y minus 12. 2 times 1/2 is just 1, so that's just x minus 16. Okay, I still want to get this in standard form, so the next thing I'm going to have to do is minus x. And I'm going to add the 12 to both sides at the same time just to save myself a step. So now I have negative x plus 2y, those 12s cancel, those x's cancel, equals negative 4. Now, if you do read at the top here, it says that they want the leading coefficient to be positive. So remember, the leading coefficient is just the coefficient on the x term. And in this case, it's negative. So I want it to be positive. So in order to change that to a positive one instead of a negative, I'm just going to multiply everything by a negative 1. So let's see if I can. Let's multiply all of these numbers by a negative 1. Okay. So that gets me now a positive x minus 2y equals a positive 4. Okay, so just like on the last page, they want the value of C for each one. So that would be 4 in this case. Okay, and then you do the same thing for student B and student C. add those values together. So whatever you get for B, whatever you get for C, add these numbers together, and that's the sum that they're talking about there, that they give the answer to at the end. This one is pretty self-explanatory. You just have to figure out which of the three equations doesn't fit the other two. So you'll notice that the first one is given to you in, oops, this first one is in point slope form. The second one is in slope intercept form, and here it is in standard form. So just go ahead and take either the, I'd probably take the first one and rewrite that one in slope intercept form and see if that matches. So I'll just do the first one. So if you go ahead and distribute that -2, I'm going to try and write, I don't really have a lot of room on here. See if I can put it up here. So let's distribute that -2. I'm sorry if you hear my son in the background. Okay, so there's that, and then I'm going to add the 9 to both sides. Y equals -2x plus 5. Okay, so that does not match what's given right here. So when I rewrote this in slope intercept form, it didn't match. So now I'm going to go to my third one and rewrite that one in slope intercept form and see if it matches either number 1 or number 2. So luckily, that's pretty easy. All I have to do is minus that 2x from both sides. So I get y equals -2x plus 5. So now I can see, oh, I forgot my negative right here. The first and the third one match, so it's the second one that doesn't match the other two. Okay, so that's how you do that page. Oh, and the sum of the three answers. Okay, so, oh, all right, so for student A, the value was 2 because it was the second one that didn't work. So that's the number that I would put in for student A. Then you're going to do the same thing for student B. Is it 1, 2, or 3 that doesn't work? Put that number there. Student C, 1, 2, or 3, put that number there. So then they're looking for you to add these three numbers together, and that's how you get that. Okay? Okay, this one, now you have a word problem here, so let's just go ahead and do student A together. During the period 2000 to 2015, the sales of cheesecake at Jenna's Cheesecake Company increased by 800 per year. In 2003, Jenna sold 3,620 cheesecakes. Write an equation that gives the annual sales as a function of the number of years since 2000. What was the number of cheesecakes sold in 2015? Okay, so for this one, they've given us basically, right here, I always mess that up, right here, 800 per year. That's really my slope, guys. Okay, so I know that it's increasing by 800 per year, and in 2003, she sold 3,620. They want to know what was the number of cheesecakes sold in 2015. Okay, so you have a couple of options here. You could make a table. So you could start with 2000, you know how much she sold in 2000, or I'm sorry, in 2003, and then you would keep adding 800 every year until you get up to 2015. But it's probably going to be a lot faster to go ahead and write an equation. So we have a point. 2003, she sold 3,620. This right here is the slope. So guys, remember, if I have a point and a slope, I can write the equation in point slope form. Okay, now this is a little bit weird because they want you to write it as a function of the number of years since 2000. So basically what that means, instead of using big numbers like 2000, 2001, 2002, those are really big numbers. We're just going to pretend like the year 2000 is year 0. So then year 1 would be 2001. So it's the number of years since the year 2000. So 2003 is 3 years since the year 2000. So that point is actually going to be 3, 3,620. So in other words, 3 years since 2000, the sale was 3,620. So that's the point that I'm going to use. And then remember, my slope was 800 per year. So using point slope form, y minus y1 equals m, 800, times x minus x1. So that's just x minus 3. Okay, so now I have an equation. And now all I have to do to finish this problem, what was the number of cheesecakes sold in 2015? Well, I need to figure out how many years since the year 2000 is the year 2015. That's going to be my answer for X. So in this case, that would be 15, right? 2015 has been 15 years since the year 2000. So all I have to do is plug in 15 for X. Okay, I wish I had some more room on here, but I don't. So I'm going to take that answer right there, X. I'm going to plug in a 15. 15 minus 3 gets me 12. And then I have a calculator right here, so I'm going to do 800 times 12. That gets me 9,600. Okay, so right here I'm going to get 9,600. And then all I'm going to have to do is add the 3,620 to the other side. Again, sorry, I really don't have room here. 3620. So let's just add that on. That's 13,220. So that is my final answer. Okay, so hopefully that's not too bad. I actually think student B and C might be a little bit easier. Okay, so hopefully we got the hardest one out of the way. All right, so again, at the bottom, you're going to take whatever your 3 answers are, add them together, and that's going to get you the answer that they give you at the end. Okay. Okay, so the parallel lines, remember that lines that are parallel have the same slope. So this one here has a slope of 3. Oops, I think I pushed a button I didn't mean to. Anyway, so that one has a slope of 3. So if I want my line to be parallel, I'm going to want to keep that same slope. And now I need to run through this point 1, 7. So I have a point and I have a slope, and you guys know what to do. I'm going to use point slope form. Y minus y1, which is 7, equals m. My slope, remember, is going to stay 3, times x minus x1, which is just 1. Okay, now the directions here are not to just write the equation. There's my equation, but they want me to find the y-intercept. So in order to do that from my equation, the best thing to do is to rewrite it in slope-intercept form. And then I know what, because remember, the y-intercept is just b. So if I rewrite it into y equals mx plus b form, I'll be able to know what b is pretty easily. So how do I get from here to there? I'm going to go ahead and distribute that 3. So y minus 7 equals 3x minus 3, and then we'll just add 7 on both sides. So I get y equals 3x plus 4. So that means that my y-intercept for student A is 4. Okay, and then you're going to do the same thing for student B, student C, and add those 3 numbers together to get the answer down here. Okay. This one's relatively straightforward. All we have to do is find the slope. So remember that we are in standard form. We actually had 2 ways to find slope here. So I don't know if you remember, but if it's in standard form, you can just do negative a over b. Do you remember that? So in this case, remember this is a, this is b, and this is c. So negative a would be negative 6 over b, which is 3. So in this case, the slope would just be negative 2. Let's make that negative a little bit better. I made it way worse. There we go. Okay. Your other option is to go ahead and rewrite the equation in slope-intercept form. So hang on. So let's see. There we go. I would minus 6x from both sides. I'm going to write the answer over here just so I have a little bit more room. negative 6x plus 18, and then divide everybody by 3. So now that it's in slope-intercept form, I know that I can look right here for my slope, so I got negative 2 anyway. So it's a little bit faster if you remember the negative a over b part, but if you don't, you can get the answer that way too. Either way, doesn't matter. You should get the same thing. Okay, so then again, for the final answer, student A was negative 2. You're going to do the same thing for B and C, add those 3 numbers together. That will get you the answer down here. Okay, one more word problem 1. So let's see here. Student A, Linda is working at an art shop. She will be paid a daily amount plus a commission on her total sales. The equation y equals 0.10x plus 85 represents the amount Linda will make based on her total sales, where y is the amount of money Linda makes in one day and x is her total sales. How much will Linda make if she sells $650 of art? Okay, so it says right here, here we go. X is her total sales. So she sold $650. So all we have to do is take 650 and plug it right in there for X, and we should get our answer. Okay, so again, I have a calculator right near me. So I'll just pop that in, and it looks like my final answer is $150. Okay, so there's my answer for A, and then you do the same thing for B and C. Add your final answers together to get the answers at the end. You'll see here that I left the answers right in here for you so you can check your work. If you didn't get any of these correct, keep scrolling. And I know it says right here that I'm not supposed to give you these, but given our circumstances, I figured it would be fine if I did. So if you keep scrolling, you can see the answer for each one. Okay, because remember, if you're adding them all together, if you had a mistake on just one of them, it's gonna mess everything up. Okay, so if you keep scrolling, you can see, oh, I think I put this in a separate file, but I'm gonna post them both. Okay, so I'll just show them in here real quick. If that's easier for you to just kind of find it. You can pause this video and look at the answers if you need to. Oh, well, I guess they don't have an answer for the last one. Oh, sorry. All right. This is just not, yeah, that's all I've got. Okay, so I hope you find this helpful. Let us know if you have any questions or you get stuck. All right. See you later, guys.